brilliant. Here we see the key players, Melody C and DSL, ex-teammates. But the fact is, Melody C is performing a little bit better these days. But DSL is slowly working his way up the board.
All right. Man, all that labradoodle doodle got me all poodled up to give you guys that series. I'm super stoked. Melody C here and DSL used to be teammates, just saying. Back in the days when Jin Zhao was still part of SPT, so always when these two teams, face one another, it's always a little bit of a grudge match as well. Although, I don't think they separated themselves in bad blood or anything, but still always a special thing to beat your former teammates, right?
Exactly. It's always got to feel pretty good. As for now, we are heading to the Towers of Doom once again as our first map of the series, with RPG taking the first pick and first ban.
Yeah, and whenever you play against SPT and said Melody C, the guy you saw on that key player overlay here just a few moments ago, man, you don't want to let that Genji go through. You don't want to let Genji go through at all, it seems. So the old saying that used to be a meme, it used to be slightly sarcastic, like, oh, haven't played Genji in a while, should probably pick him, actually becomes truth right now in pro play, because very rarely do you actually get the chance to play Genji these days just because he is banned and taken away all the time.
So, with the Maevs and Genji banned, that leaves SPT open to ban whatever they freaking want. They can get rid of Diablo, Hammer. They're going to stick with Hammer, once again focusing on to DSL. Actually, they've surprisingly managed to double focus DSL, because Abathur is one of his, only 8 heroes played this season.
I mean, the question is whether RPG would have relied on it in the first place, but technically speaking, you're correct. DSL was the only Abathur we've seen this face.
Exactly. So then, with that, we see what else RPG can bring out. They're starting off with a Phoenix pick for par. It's SPT, bring out the Thrall and the Diablo. Picking Phoenix over Diablo just seems like a mistake to me.
It really does. I mean, C is a strong tank player altogether, and he can certainly unleash a devastating Diablo, so I really don't understand why you would prioritize the Phoenix over it. I think the biggest fear that RPG has right now is, of course, if you don't pick the Phoenix, other teams are going to be aware of the weakness that Pa has on any other hero, basically, other than Phoenix, so they will most certainly either pick it first or ban it in the second go.
Yeah. You could at least deck it. Bring that out at least. That'd be great. Oh, man. But they do get the Deckard in exchange, so they still have that combo. Quite surprised SPT didn't pick that up, actually. The Thrall over Deckard priority is still a little bit weird to me as well.
Yeah, they may have a plan there. I mean, Thrall, he has been doing so much work over the last few days. Like, he became... in China, he was very rarely picked unless you wanted to go Crash Lightning on certain maps. But now, it really seems to me that China has... discovered that different type of playstyle of Thrall, from the flanking, sundering type of playstyle to the more solo laney playstyle as well. Really good stuff.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Slapjack NPNP for taking my message about the fact that on Master League, RPG's roster wasn't up to date and therefore showed incorrect stats, and fixing it in less than an hour. That is cool. Thank you very much, friend.
What a champ.
The Malfurion band out, so that's sort of trying to force SPT into a white main or maybe someone else. No matter what, Deckard's going to have a good time with that Emerald Cube, and there's the white main.
All right, there's the white main indeed. Strong protection, strong playmaking capabilities, and oftentimes unintentional tanking that she can somehow live through, which is always amazing to see. The amount of burst healing and protection she can muster. Now, what is left there for RPG? We need a DSL hero. It's always interesting to see. Are we going to see a Vala, maybe?
Possibly. It's still technically one of his highest win rates, but going to see a Hanzo. Is that DSL's hero? That is the question, because he has not played Phoenix yet. So I would assume,
honestly, though,
that the Hanzo is his.
It has to be, in my opinion, because... no matter how he performs, that may sound a little savage, but no matter how he performs, it can't be worse than Pa yesterday, who, without a doubt, in my opinion, has played the weakest Hanzo I've ever seen in HGC China. No disrespect, Pa, you're probably still a better player than me, but that Hanzo was nothing to be worth remembering.
I can see a point here, and I'm currently looking to see if he played it back when he was on SPT, and yes, he did. DSL played it 3 times with a 100% win rate. So he has played the Hanzo before, and is finally probably going to be the person bringing it out now.
Yeah, I think so too. Pa on that Phoenix usually does pretty well. It's a safer hero for him, of course, as well. With that teleport, has that shield later on, the double health bar after level 20. So, yeah. First time I think we see DSL on the Hanzo this phase.
It's the first time RPG have played a second time they have played a Hanzo due to the fact that
it's the first time, Tetra. We don't remember yesterday.
No, it's the third time actually that they played it. They are 0-2 with Hanzo apparently. Thanks, Matt.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Did Pop play Hanzo twice?
Yes, I believe so, because it's not on DSL's hero list.
Oh man, all right. Switching things up here a little bit, trying to go for the triple, and third time's the charm here for RPG.
Also, with their last loss, RPG have a perfect 50% win rate with Phoenix. So
nice.
Now then, let's get this underway. On the left-hand side, looking to try and steal some points away in the night, it is RPG, with Free Show, MJ, Pa, C, and DSL.
And fighting them is SPT with Lucky, Melody C, Misaka, Soap, and ZZH, and together they form the band known as the Super Perfect Team. Let's see what they can do here in Towers of Doom. Yet again, a rather unusual pick here, as we see that beautiful split screen, by the way. Perfectly symmetrical.
Now then, RPG moving out across the map. No minion blocks or cheeky things like that. So only seems to be KT that's willing to experiment with stuff like that. And a Redemption Hanzo coming in. That's how long it's been since DSL has played this hero.
But you know what? First of all, I don't hate it. I think the build in general still has a little bit of merit to it. And also, it fits the playstyle of DSL like way more, doesn't it? Good route there on Dahaka. And that's how easy you get First Blood RPG. Wonderfully done.
Wonderfully done indeed. Too much focus onto DSL there with Diablo diving in. Dahaka trying to follow up, and Dahaka being punished because Diablo could not peel for him. And a cheeky First Blood picked up as everyone begins heading into lanes.
Now Free Show is in trouble, gets surrounded by 2 beefy beefcakes here, Diablo and Soap. But now the Hunter become the hunted here, as reinforcements have trickled in for RPG, and the onslaught here in the top lane has come to a halt for now.
Free Show played Blaze in the previous series, right?
Yes, he did.
Okay, then his 100% win rate on Blaze is broken, but he did have one for a while, until today.
That's interesting. And I think Free Show in general is a really underrated player oftentimes. Like, you very rarely see him make, big misplays or big mistakes. He's always that solid top laner that usually keeps his team in the game for at least a little bit there. So now DSL.
if you want some extra support for that statement, 3 of RPG's 100% win rate heroes out of 6 are all Free Show's heroes.
Nice.
Thrall, Blaze, and Leoric.
Yeah, it really shows you the class, right? And the lack of attention that we sometimes end up giving to him. Now, speaking of it, you see all those juicy body blocks there, Free Show and C. Now, Free Show needs to get the hell out of there, because Diablo could have maybe locked him down. But RPG, we mentioned this earlier, didn't we? Such an unpredictable team. They got utterly crushed in game number 1 against the A-team today, but against the top dogs, SPT, they're looking much more focused and concentrated.
Yes, they are. Good start here. Also, thank God that DSL picks Explosive Arrow instead of the Ignore All Distractions, because that's really only useful against catapults. And when you're fighting near a minion wave, you're on this map not always fighting near a minion wave, and there are no such thing as catapults here. So as such, you will not see any use for Ignore All Distractions, so Explosive Arrow for wave clear makes more sense.
All right. Glad you mentioned that detail. Explosive Arrow is still probably the most reliable out of all the Hanzo 4 talents, especially when you're fighting near minions or mercenaries. It's always good to have that additional wave clear and splash damage. Now, 3 altars are going to arrive here. How much emphasis is RPG going to put into that bottom one? Looks like quite a bit. Phoenix is already on the way. SPT still have Thrall in the middle, so it's going to be a 3 versus 4 here. You need to be very careful. Looks like they're just going to give it up, aren't they?
They got it. They didn't intend on, but a great move out by C prevents the engage. Soap was too late, but now they're going to try and go for a kill instead. See your DSL. That's going to be a couple stacks lost, but it's not the worst thing. You only lose 2 or 3 stacks every death, so you're actually able to recover those pretty quickly.
Honestly, I think that was a fine trade, all things considered. You know, you still had Blaze soaking 2 lanes there at the same time. Look at those rotation interrupts as well, so SPT can't even soak the minions in the middle, or at least not all of them. And you know what? Trading core damage for a hero in the early game is not the worst. Low death timers, low experience gain for SPT, so yep, totally fine for RPG still.
This Pa puts pressure onto Misaka.
Oh,
Teleports
Lucky's
very aggressively as they've target swapped, like you said, to Lucky, and that's an easy kill going in there.
Wow.
Whitemane unable to keep the healing up, and RPG, great pressure, a little bit over-aggressive, but they still escape.
They still escape. They even drop the Emerald Cube here just to make sure that Misaka struggles a little bit more here. Sharpened Arrowheads online for Hanzo. That means we're now going to see some armor reduction, especially after Redemption is fully stacked with that increased attack speed. You can really shred your opponents using Stormbow and your basic attacks. Cool adjustment to see here. And really, once we said, it fits the DSL playstyle, very much focused on micromanagement, stutter stepping, and so on and so forth.
As Pa, who's continuing to put on a great show on this Phoenix. Once again, definitely seems to be his best hero. Despite the fact that we do consider him to be a little bit of a weaker link in the team, he is getting better every single time we see him. But when he performs, he is a god. I will absolutely say that. He is not always performing, but when he does, it's pretty freaking great. Melody C will escape here. Emerald Cube for good measure, but they're unable to finish the job. Not enough CC here.
Yeah, that was close, by the way. C anticipated the escape route by Thrall a little too much there, and he probably should have been more patient with that Stormbolt to lock him down. That could have secured them a kill, and that may have actually secured them as well, the second altar. But as it is, teams are splitting it 28-32. Still, it's anyone's game, basically. None of the teams was able to get themselves a crippling, devastating blow. So, yep, Mercenaries are going to be taken here. The other one was actually stolen away earlier by RPG. Misaka needs to be careful, man. Misaka, a player that has a very illustrious record and a long history with HGC China, but a player that seems to be struggling as well in the most recent history. Don't you agree, Tetcher?
I would say so. He has really struggled to find his feet in the new meta, has not had a lot of time to reacclimate himself. He's certainly still got the skill, but he seems to be struggling with the play style that seems to exist these days. As the overpower from Misaka does not land, as DSL continues to currently prove us wrong and pings arrows over and over again onto Lucky and Misaka as C dives deep. Not deep enough, though, to set up for a kill.
I think we're getting close to the point at which DSL actually has Redemption complete, if he doesn't have it complete already.
I don't think it's done. The attack speed looks a little slow to me.
Didn't really see the quest completion either on the left-hand side. Let's see.
It's not done.
There we go.
Now it's done. As DSL chases down Misaka, forces him to back up. A little bit of sharpened arrowheads for good measure.
Yep. Strong poking damage here. Level 10 has arrived. We see the Dragon's Arrow, the bunker. No big surprises here, of course. Decker Kane, the only one who's currently still making up his mind as to whether he should go for the Stay a While and Listen or the good old Tornado.
Ping in those arrows. Here comes the salvo.
Wow.
Only on Misaka. The one-man salvo. Better or worse than a one-man mosh pit, Kendrick?
Absolutely true. And we could once again see Misaka. You know, we didn't mean to curse him or anything, but that was one of those moments in which you cannot afford to go out of position, you know, on the Diablo. First of all, you didn't have level 10, so you didn't even need to be there. Boom goes Raynor. Phoenix continues to slice and dice his way through to victory. What is Soap doing there? Didn't you just notice that Raynor died and Diablo didn't really do too well either? He even missed the isolation. Ooh. Now he's in trouble. The Aegis needs to be used to protect everyone. Yeah, SPT is struggling a little bit to really find their grip onto this game. 2 altars go over to RPG just like that.
More shots on the core, and RPG's lead continues to extend, but not by much. That's the thing. They're just whittling away at SPT. They're not snowballing. There's a 100% a chance for SPT. Well, there is a good chance, not a 100% chance. There is a really good chance for SPT to turn this around and bring it back.
Major kudos to both ranged assassins of RPG, by the way, DSL and Pa. I know we mentioned this many times up to this point, but they really seem to be, you know, on lock when it comes to finding an opening, when it comes to punishing greedy positioning off a Raynor here, for example. Lucky had to feel the pain several times already. Misaka now getting chipped down as well, and RPG, look at that. They won't even allow SPT to walk out of their base, right? They're controlling all the angles, all the choke points up to this point.
With RPG cleaning out those sapper camps very slowly. So even with this build, does not have the best wave clear. As Free Show continues to pressure up there. Both sets of sappers will be cleared out. None will actually make it in from either team. As C just continues to harass Misaka, and Soak Experience up there as well.
Yeah, Soap doing a good job here, keeping those zappers occupied so they won't actually crash into that bell tower here. Good stuff. DSL finds himself in a pinch there. The sleep comes in a little too late, couldn't save Hanzo anymore. So finally a good move by SPT, a sign of life that they're not going to give up this game just as easily as RPG had thought.
C back up. C backs up, sorry. Potions acquired just in case he does decide to do any kind of dive, but with Misaka here, this will likely just be a Sapper Camp steal. Even with the time, I take it back. They are going in. Paris taking a lot of damage in this though. Lightning Breath being used. Where's that teleport? There it is. Good potion as they dive in. Freezer from the other side. Salvo with the bunker drop. And isolation dragon arrow from downtown right on the backline. ZZH is the target here, but he's able to micro away. But this means he's going to be able to do a little bit less damage, so less healing for the rest of the team. And can't apply the zeal. Melody Z barely surviving thanks to the Inquisition. But we are seeing the momentum shift and RPG taking control. They look for Soap, they pick up the kill, and Misaka shall fall shortly after.
What a battle here by RPG. That went on for almost 2 minutes. The struggle, the skirmish around the Zappers here was taken by SPT, but they lost every single member. And, yep, as a result, the altar also goes over to RPG without pretty much any fight left in SPT. With no weapons anymore to contest it, they shoot 4 more shots onto the enemy core. Now, I wonder if they could have taken the bottom bell tower first and then gone back to the altar for 1 additional shot, but I think the death timers overall were too low. You can already see Diablo and Thrall making their way back into defending this.
You see that bottom bell tower is being worked down, but it's not gone yet. With SPT rotating in, it will likely survive a beautiful sundering. Stay a while. DSL finally finished off. Can't get to a wall. Redemption succeeded in stacking and then immediately removed as C is in full retreat. MJ gives himself a great escape route. He might just be able to port here. Misaka hunting him down. He knows. He finds him in the corner. And MJ will almost certainly fall. Actually, maybe. No, he won't. MJ will absolutely live this as we see the Haka dropping the drag onto the blaze. Is bunker available? No, it isn't, but the thrusters are.
Spectacular escape there by MJ, really showing how quick the old man Decker Kane can sometimes run and use his feet and legs. So that was good stuff. It was unfortunately a little bit chaotic for SPT, the chase that was. So they weren't able to follow Diablo, but also great peeling here by Free Show on that blaze. You know, buying a little bit of time, stunning several people, dropping the bunker for the body blocks as well. They did lose a member, true, but that was an astounding engage also by Melody C, right? If you land a 4 or 5 men sunder like that, you're guaranteed to lose a member or two. So they cut their losses pretty well, RPG. They made the best out of that miserable situation. And now, Tetra 3 altars are here. Level 16 is so close, but not just there yet for RPG.
They're pinging through minion waves, though. They're soaking mid and bot, so they're getting a big chunk of XP here. Even putting some pressure onto Misaka. Misaka says, you call that damage, and backs up. C has to grab some potions to keep himself going. We're seeing the top lane traded out evenly. Diablo zones all 3 backline members, because both the frontline members having to come in from a different side. Good interrupt by Free Show, but he gets dragged. Where's that bunker? There it is! Salvo coming out with a huge amount of damage, but they're tanking through. Thanks to the Aegis. They want to let a dragon arrow onto the backline. They focus onto Raider, but he's kiting beautifully. Lucky with the turnaround, and this will be an SPT altar.
I think it will be. I think you might be right. The Hanzo interrupt, though, with a nice Sonic arrow, buying enough time for C to go back in.
C's going ham, holding the line. Misaka is focused down and taken out as DSL with a great interrupt and MJ with the great heal. Soap goes down, anti-heal on Raider for good measure as they chase him down. His E does nothing as they pick up another kill. No, ZZH escapes and Sobel Melody C, but the altar goes to RPG.
That it does, and it was all enabled by that 1 golden pinpoint accuracy Sonic arrow by DSL, and he wasn't even fully stacked in Redemption yet. He put in the pain, and we told you guys, Misaka doesn't have the best of times right now. He misses the engage, overpowers a minion, and then gets taken out with the combined efforts of RPG. They're looking so good right now.
You talked about how this build absolutely suits the style of DSL because he is shredding them right now. Every time Misaka comes in, every time Dahaka gets out of position, every time Reina thinks he can step up, son, he gets shut down by those sharpened arrowheads.
Like, if you go for that auto-attack heavy build with Hanzo, all of a sudden your dueling capabilities just increase manifold, right? No longer are you that, you know, ability-dependent assassin who sometimes loses in those trades straight up against a Raynor. Now, Raynor probably will still win most of those trades. However, Hanzo's survival chances and actually killing potential with other heroes combined, they just increase so much here. And now, we mentioned this yesterday, hold that thought. DSL survives. Misaka out of position, and Diablo falls.
You can absolutely see the damage output there. Turnaround 3-man Dragon Arrow salvo coming out. The Aegis keeps them alive, but it's only a delay. Actually, it is not, as Melody C survives thanks to the clemency coming in, but Dahaka still goes down. Both frontliners. No frontliner is safe against this build.
Oh boy, ZZH on that white lane is already working double time to keep everyone alive, and he's been doing a good job so far. Definitely can't blame him. It's the front line that seems to crumble for SPT every single time in those fights. Hanzo lowering their armor, the tank shredding now at level 16 as well with auto attacks and the scatter shots. It's just too much for SPT to handle, and look at RPG.
Anti-heal and armor reduction. How do you deal with that? Melody C barely survives. Sonic Arrow just in case he could snipe him. But another 6 shots onto the core. That is GG, and game 1 goes to RPG in, and I didn't think I would say this, convincing fashion against Super Perfect Team.
And sure, what is going on with RPG? Can they just be consistent for once? I mean, I wouldn't even mind them being consistently bad, just so that it would be easier for us to actually estimate their power level. Or